Now, I think in the past we've actually been quite bad at this, at making sure we disseminate best practice. We know there are places where really good things are happening. But in those areas where things aren't so great, we need them to link up and learn lessons quickly from the expertise of others who are doing things well. Crucially, local authorities are going to have to work with the voluntary sector much more from now on, and on a level playing field. They should use the experience and support networks of organisations like Young Devon, who play such a vital role in promoting emotional health and well-being in young people. Now, we in government will be leading the way, working with volunteers to help them meet challenges and take advantage of new opportunities. And one example of this, as I've already said, is the National Citizen Service Scheme, which many of you are going to be closely involved in. We're also working with the financial sector to develop investment opportunities. And of course, the new Big Society Bank will be created with the express purpose of using money from dormant bank accounts to support voluntary organisations, to kick-start investment in good ideas, good projects that work, that make a real impact. And there's a particular focus there around young people as well. I think the key word to sum up our way of working and thinking smarter is integration. Integration is an understanding that everything is, or should be, linked up. Public and voluntary services linking up to provide support and value for money. Neighbourhoods linking to share best practice, and services being delivered in an integrated way to whole families, because one person's problems have an impact on the people closest to them. And in keeping with this spirit, the Department of Health and the Department for Education are working together to put mental health issues on an equal footing with physical health when we're accessing quality in the NHS. For example, we know that when a woman is in good physical and mental health during pregnancy, her child is likely to be healthier, whereas depression, anxiety and maternal stress are linked to impaired emotional and cognitive development in infants. So we're going to make sure that the government's mental health strategy considers the importance of early intervention and the need to work with families, providing mental health support from infancy, during schooling, and through the important and often tricky transition to adulthood. None of this is actually rocket science, but it's not happening enough, and it must happen, and it needs to happen. Finally, can I just say a word about Young Devon's newly published interim report on the role of youth clubs in our society. It was a really interesting read, and I'm glad to say I was able to see it hot off the press. And it's relevant to my points today because it reports on the contribution that youth clubs make to the mental and emotional well-being of tens of thousands of young people in this country. Because with so much attention paid rightly to those in extreme need, and with so many policies focused on addressing extreme problems, it's easy sometimes to overlook the part played by youth workers in the ordinary well-being of so many young people. These youth workers, I think, are the unsung heroes who give up their time week after week to run football clubs, scouts and guides groups, drama activities, you name it. There are 11,000 such clubs throughout the UK, all of them helping young people build strong and supportive social networks. And again, I want to hear a lot more about them. And they provide invaluable support to who knows how many young people who might have what we term low-level emotional problems before they could ever register on any public radar. Now, your report, I think, demonstrates how youth clubs can promote young people's emotional health and strengthen their resilience, and they help to prevent relatively minor difficulties escalating into major problems and challenges. In fact, little did any of us realise back in the day when we were learning to tie knots and put up tents with the scouts, in my case very badly, that such social activities were helping to make such a positive difference to our personal and social development and future life choices. The truth is that self-confidence and self-respect, the qualities that youth clubs do so much to nurture, are a really powerful force in combating the lack of self-belief which often lies at the root of mental ill health. Everyone here today is doing their bit, I'm sure, towards helping young people develop that all-important self-confidence. Confidence of expression and confidence of action. And the government is playing its part too through giving power back to communities, through working with volunteers, removing the obstacles to people coming forward to do their bit, through the National Citizen Service Scheme and other similar projects. So I just want to end by thanking you all once again for the excellent work that's going on in Young Devon, and for your support in the future as we work together as we need to create hope, opportunity and fulfilment for our young people. And that's what you're doing so well in Devon. And many congratulations on your 61 years. And I look forward to the next 61 years of the great progress you've already made. Thank you very much. What I am trying to do, and this week I had a meeting with some senior executives from ITV, and I'm holding a series of meetings with other editors and television companies, is seeing if we can put together a big themed, perhaps a week or something like that next year, which is all about Positive for Youth, which has got different strands of programmes, of projects in local papers, in national papers, coming together so that Positive for Youth becomes a brand, whatever we're actually going to call it. There are quite a lot of good examples of certain local newspapers, for example, and my one has just started to do it because I've been bashing them so much down in Worthing, where they have columns written by local young people who can write some news, anything they like, and it's usually good, local, positive stuff of what young people are up to. We have good examples of, we have a youth, my constituency is Worthing, which slightly ironically for the town that has the highest percentage of over 85-year-olds in the country, if not the universe, was also one of the first towns to have a youth mayor. And we have a very high-profile youth mayor and youth cabinet who get some really good stories across about what young people are doing and how they're influencing the council itself, for example. But what we need to do is not just do a sort of token exercise. We need to challenge people's perceptions. And I want Positive for Young People stories appearing in the mainstream. A few years ago, BBC did a campaign around children in care, looked after children. And they produced some documentaries about it, and there were some corresponding articles in newspapers about it. But what really hit home is there was a storyline in EastEnders about it, for example. And they brought some of those challenging subjects into the mainstream, and that had more effect than many other things. So what I'm trying to do, and there's no silver bullet to this, I'm trying to get the media on side to say, look, there's a real marketing opportunity here to be positive about young people. If we can coordinate it and the government will act as a catalyst and bring people together to do it, then I think we can achieve something really big. But what I think is going to be really significant in all this is the National Citizen Service. I want the National Citizen Service to become a huge brand. There are 720,000 16-year-olds in this country. Potentially, NCS is going to be rolled out to all of them. And so I want every 15-year-old to be asking questions of another 15-year-old, have you signed up for your NCS next summer yet? Or every 17-year-old who's saying, how did your NCS go? And for them to be doing things in their community after they've done their residential scheme in the summer on NCS, which is ongoing. And these will be community projects led by teenagers, led by young people, that will inspire local communities, that will bring in other age groups, that will bring in corporate sort of interest and volunteering schemes as well. But at the heart of it will be those young people doing some really rather impressive stuff. And if you've got that, the power of that and the success of that, I think it will really challenge, more than anything, people to question prejudices about all 16-year-olds being a bunch of muggy hood wasters. And that's why National Citizen Service is so crucial to this government's programme of being positive for youth, and why I'm so pleased that Young Devon is going to be part of it.